Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. Today we're looking at another criminal abortion death that, because it was a criminal abortion death, I gotta tell you, abortion advocates steal my illegal abortion death stories and put them on their own websites as reasons abortion needs to be legal, while carefully filtering out the legal abortion deaths, and they have no qualms about including ones like the death of Emily that I'm going to talk about today. And I don't know. Listen to the story and tell me how different you think this is from if abortion had been legal. So, in August and September of 1916, Emily's period didn't come, so she told her husband, Ernest, that she was pregnant and that she planned to get an abortion because she didn't think they could afford another child on her husband's salary as a firefighter. They had 2 living children and 2 that had died. Now, Ernest later said that he opposed the abortion and spoke against it all the time, but he might have said that in order to, try to reduce the amount of trouble he was in for his role in the abortion. However, it does seem that he eventually came around to Emily's way of thinking and performed the male role of locating an abortionist and accompanying his wife to the doctor's office on a Friday night in September of 1916. So he actually went to his own doctor, Clarence Mercerau. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, so I'm going to call him Dr. Clarence. Sorry. I don't want to keep botching the man's name. So Ernest had previously seen Dr. Clarence, so he brought his wife there. Why not? Guy was a doctor. Who was a graduate of Bennett Medical College in Chicago. Dr. Clarence agreed to do the abortion and told them the fee would be $10 for the abortion and then $2 for coming to check on her afterward, and they paid half the fee that night. Ernest said that the doctor asked him to be quiet and not say anything, and then he shut the door and prepared to do the operation. He had her lie on a surgical chair, and he used an instrument that Ernest described as a womb opener, nickel-plated, silver-like, 10 or 12 inches long. After doing the procedure, the doctor told her to stay on her feet until she got sick enough to go to bed. When they got home that evening, Emily was bleeding, and a week later she called Dr. Clarence, who came to their home and prescribed some medicine for her. So right there we've got a difference between nowadays. Doctors actually did house calls, and I'm old enough to remember doctors doing house calls. So Dr. Clarence went to the home twice. Now, after 3 weeks of chills and fever, Emily called in a second doctor who took her to the hospital. And while at the hospital, she told an intern, "My husband and myself came to the conclusion that we had enough children and wanted something done so we would not have to support another." Emily finally died on October 9th. And Dr. Clarence was held by the coroner and indicted, but the case was stricken off on December 16th. So evidently, he was never prosecuted. Something else that he has in common with doctors doing safe and legal abortions. So, I don't know. Pro-choice people love to steal these stories, including ones where a doctor did the abortion in his office, a regular doctor that the family went to for other things. And somehow the reason she died wasn't because this was back in the days before blood transfusions and antibiotics. Nope, it was entirely because the abortion was illegal. Somehow Dr. Clarence wouldn't have killed her.